I think the strangest part of growing is realizing that some people still talk to you like you're the version of yourself they last remember. Not because they don't care, and not because they're cruel, but because that's the last place that they met you. They hold on to that version because it's familiar to them and because it fits the story they have of you in their head. And maybe they haven't seen who you've become since then. Maybe they never will. I didn't wake up one day as someone new. There was no announcement, no moment where everything shifted all at once. No dramatic exit, no big goodbye. I just kept choosing differently in small ways that didn't seem important at that time. I started thinking differently, needing different things, and responding differently. Quiet changes that only made sense to me. And slowly, without realizing it, I grew out of the life I once fit into. Somewhere along the way, I outgrew conversations that felt heavy, the kind that left me feeling drained instead of understood. I outgrew places that felt too small, spaces where I had to shrink parts of myself just to belong. I even outgrew versions of myself that were built only to survive, versions that were strong in ways I no longer needed to be. And as I changed, the distance began to show. Not suddenly, but gradually, in the pauses, in the silences, in the way things stopped flowing the way they used to. Some people noticed the distance right away. Some didn't notice it at all. And some noticed but didn't know how to talk about it. For some, it felt like rejection. For others, it felt like loss. But growth isn't always mutual and it doesn't always move at the same pace for everyone involved. And that doesn't make it wrong, it just makes it real. There's a strange guilt that comes with becoming someone new, a quiet voice that asks whether changing means betraying who you once were or abandoning the people who loved you then. I carried that guilt with me for a long time. I wondered if I should soften myself, explain myself more, stay familiar just to make things easier for everyone else. I wondered if growing was worth the discomfort it caused. But I don't see it that way anymore. I don't resent who I was. I look back at her with tenderness. She did the best she could with what she knew, with the tools she had at that time. She survived things I don't talk about much. She learned lessons I needed in order to be here now. I honor her, I just don't live there anymore. And sometimes that realization hurts. Not because I miss that version of me, but because I know not everyone will recognize the person standing here today. There's a quiet grief in understanding that some people will only ever know a past version of you. They'll speak to you through old memories, old expectations, and old roles you no longer fit into. And no matter how much you've grown, they won't see it because they are not standing where you are now. Some connections don't break loudly. They don't end in arguments or final conversations. They fade slowly. They stop fitting the life you're building, even if they once meant everything to you. Some people remember you as someone you had to outgrow to stay alive. Some remember you as someone who changed too much. Both can exist at the same time, and neither makes your growth invalid. What I'm learning is that growth isn't something you negotiate. It doesn't come with explanation or apologies that makes everyone comfortable. It happens because it has to. Because staying the same would cost you more than changing ever could. Choosing yourself often looks quiet from outside, almost invisible. But inside, it can feel like the hardest and bravest thing you've ever done. I don't owe anyone the comfort of staying the same. I don't owe anyone a version of me that no longer fits. Sometimes it simply means I chose myself. Growth doesn't need permission, and distance doesn't always mean loss.